단
딸기
Ross.
Hi, my name is Anna and I am a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton and I'm a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back with more requested reactions and we will be reacting to a group for the very first time today. Who is it?
So, from requests, we were asked to react to this group called Elast. They debuted in June of 2020, so they're very, very rookies, very shinin. And they are an 8-member boy group from E Entertainment. We took a look at their profiles, but obviously since this is our first introduction to any of them, sorry in advance for during our reactions, we're not gonna know names and who's who. But yeah, so the 2 songs we'll be reacting to today are their debut, Swear, 기사의 맹세, and then their first comeback, Tears of Chaos, 눈물 자국. So, let's go!
Oh, that's so pretty.
It's so dramatic.
I know.
What is this aspect ratio to?
No, but that beginning,
Oh.
it feels like they're telling the story in the dance. So what's the story? I appreciate that in the subtitles it has who's singing.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice. Oh, chord.
What?
What are these? Oh. They got you, Peyton. Whoever that is.
I'm sold! I don't know who it is, but I'm sold!
Who are you? Your tone is different. Oh. I really like the in the backgrounds. They're using xylophone earlier. It's not happening right now, but it was earlier. That chord. Oh. Huh?
Oh, it's amazing.
I don't know what it is, but something about this is reminding me of older K-pop. Oh.
Oh.
It's like
Whoa.
oh. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Thank you for understanding.
Uh-huh. I know.
Where to begin? It's very dramatic. All of the sets actually are dramatic. The song is dramatic, and the dancing, also dramatic. And it's reinforced by all of the very large kind of sustained movements that they do. And that's present throughout the entire dance. Like at the beginning, it's the slow walking and then the slowly going to their knees that's contrasted by one of them like throwing their head back and falling to their knees, which makes it more dramatic. It's like that sort of moment. But the chorus, like the first couple of choruses especially, have a lot of those large like arm movements that carry their whole body into them, where they go to their knees a lot and they like arch up from the ground like they're being pulled by something. Side note, literally, weight of my heart, do an arch up from the ground and actually tilt your head back, which they all did when I was watching the dance practice. It's just so much prettier. But yeah, it just feels very dramatic. And then it's contrasted in like the second verse, for instance, when the rapping happens, the dancing speeds up a little bit and it gets more punchy and it starts to feel more desperate there. And then it kind of builds and it builds. And the last chorus is the most dramatic because it's not just the big movements that feel like they're throwing their body around. It's also getting faster and it's like they're pouring out these emotions. In the music video, they're also in the water. And to be completely honest, I'm not always a fan of dancing in water because sometimes it's just kind of like an effect that's there because it looks cool. But with the movements that they're doing, because they are doing a lot of circular movements that kind of splash the water up with them, it's a really nice effect. Like I liked it here. Choreography wise though, it has kind of like that old K-pop feeling that you started mentioning while we were reacting, because now a lot of choreographies are focused on like the fastest movements, getting in as much as possible. Like it's a lot more hip-hop focused too, which is great. And it's just like a different style, but this definitely felt more like, I don't know, is that like third gen? I don't know, older K-pop. It's a lot more focused on like doing the movements full out and giving each movement the time that it needs. And it has more contemporary elements to it. And it just, I don't know, feels a little bit more emotional because of the way they're doing the choreography. And honestly, I love that. In the music video, obviously you have all of the different sets and everything, and it's beautiful and they're telling the story. But then when I was just watching the dance practice separately, they sold the story in the dance practice too. Like they made me believe it. My heart was aching by the end of it. I was like, wow. And then my last comment, and this is like my fangirling comment, not that the rest of this hasn't been, but like, oh my God, Anna. So I think it's Chae-in. If it's not, correct me because you don't understand. I need to know. But in the reaction, the ballet moment where he's doing contemporary dance and his arms are up and then he's like arching on the floor, and I literally gasped and I could not recreate that reaction if I tried because it was just so natural. I was just so caught off guard and it was beautiful. And oh my gosh, I'm very sold on this song. Anna's turn.
So talking about the song though, like Peyton said, it's very dramatic. Especially I was saying the beginning intro instrumental. To further explain one of my reactions that happened, every single time I went like, that chord! At the end of the pre-chorus, I believe. So the song itself is in a minor key, but then that one chord that happens makes it even more off-putting than it already is. And I feel like it's augmented instead of diminished, but augmented also makes you feel kind of uncomfortable and like anxious and like what's going on. Yeah, I need more time to go back and figure out exactly what kind of chord it is, but it's like very effective because like the instrumental itself has been kind of very slow, connected, dramatic, and like there's potential to get a little bit bored by that point, but then the chord switches up and you're like, ooh, what was that? And it's very ear-catching. The chorus, it's interesting because like you are saying, current K-pop is very much more like hip-hop style and dance. And musically too, when you're thinking about the beats and the rhythms, it's a lot more syncopated. And there are moments where it will count on every single beat, but that's usually just for like EDM style, like leading up into a chorus drop. And like this song does have syncopated rhythms, but the chorus counts on every single beat. So I thought that was really interesting. But that brings me to my next observation that I thought was interesting is from the transition between the first chorus into the second verse. At the end of the chorus, there's like, these notes are just being sustained and it's kind of like you sent it off into the air and it's just like soaring and there's no percussion. It's just like sustain. And it feels like it could be a fade out moment. But then the verse comes back in and it's once again counting on 1, 2, 3, 4. The effect is that it feels like the tempo has gotten faster when the verse comes back in. But it hasn't. After the second chorus, it doesn't have that same effect. because the beat keeps on playing even during that like sustained part. So I just thought that that was really cool. Instrumentally, obviously, it was contributing to the whole vibe that Peyton and I were getting. Like the strings are extremely prominent in the song, and piano is very prominent. Not like keyboard sounds, but it sounds more like an actual piano, which adds to the classical feeling, and also it makes it feel fuller. Also, I mentioned they have like a xylophone sound playing at some point. One thing I really liked was the layered background vocals chord that happens leading up into the final chorus, because like they do like silence, chorus, and I was like, it's kind of predictable, but it's still really effective, and I liked it. And then finally, the ending of the song, it feels like the song is going to end like open-ended with like the way that it holds out, and then there's a little bit of silence, and then it does resolve with like the piano, and I was like, oh yes, thank you for resolving. Anyways, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Next. Okay, so second song we're reacting to is their first comeback, which is Tears of Chaos, 눈물 자국. Let's go. This also based on title.
Yeah, it's
dramatic. Oh, but whispers.
Oh. Butterflies.
Is it blue? Yep, it's blue.
It was blue, yeah.
Interesting. Who was singing the bass doubling for that line?
Do you really think I know the answer to that question?
It was a rhetorical question. Okay. What is that? Oh.
Yeah.
Huh?
It has a similar setting, I swear. Is it connected?
They went down. What? Wow. That line in the back.
Ooh.
Would it be weird to say that I want to see the sheet music for this?
No.
Okay.
That's such a cool lift.
Oh.
Yeah. They do a lot of floor work in their choreography. I'm here for it. It's like actual floor work too.
Not just being on the ground.
Yeah. The mirror.
눈물이 채워졌어 과거는 잊혀져가 눈물이 채워졌어 과거는 잊혀져가 아름다웠어
Oh. Okay, so first thing. We noticed while we were watching, but because we're still trying to get to know the members, we weren't like positive, but we were like, oh, someone's missing. So then we checked, and one of the members, Wonjun, right? Wonjun is missing because he had broadcasting schedules that conflicted. So, check, we are aware. Second comment. Are they connected? Like, are Swear and Tears of Chaos connected? Because I could make the case for it, but also it could just be that they're both very dramatic. But okay, on to other comments. So the dance. Obviously, it matches the style. It's very dramatic again, but I will say this one, content-wise, feels more like modern K-pop, like this gen of K-pop. It still has some of those elements because just, I think it might also just be their dancing style. So it still has some of those like 2.5, third-ish gen K-pop elements, but this one was a little bit more of like what's popular in K-pop these days. But I did notice, it was in the last one too, but especially in this one, I love how they use all of their counts when they're doing movement. And like a really good example of that is when they're on the floor in the chorus and they're dragging along the floor or along their leg. It would be very possible to just be like hand pull in, but instead they have like 4 counts for it. I don't remember exactly how many counts they have, but let's say they have 4 counts for it and they actually use all 4 counts to pull it in. And that's really satisfying and it makes their dancing feel more mature, which fits the concept too, because it makes it feel more refined, like they're more experienced than, you know, a couple of month-old rookies. The choreography too, I liked how there were moments in it that were mirrored in the music video, specifically the mirror part, because there is, I think it's in a bridge where they actually make like a window, but I was interpreting it as a mirror just because in the music video, they're like dancing around that mirror and kind of like trying to get through it. Maybe it's supposed to symbolize like being able to move away from this moment, which they can't do, which is why they're stuck on one side of the mirror. Okay, so the lift. I have to talk about it. So it's great, and I love that it was in there. A couple of things I really appreciated about it that made it feel more cohesive in the choreography rather than just like, oh, we're putting a lift in here for the sake of a lift. They did movement into it, so Taein is the one being lifted, and they actually like grab his arms and they do a circle around and then go up into the lift, which makes it feel more natural and more like it's part of the choreography rather than just like sit lift because they want to lift. And also the way he goes into it is really impressive, and I have to watch the dance practice to like check and make sure, but he's actually, as he rolls his foot over from being like kind of inverted to being on his foot, but he doesn't get on his foot until right before they lift him, and so it's right in that moment he can push off, but it doesn't make it look like he's assisting with the lift, so it looks like he's just being lifted. That's really, really good, like, lift technique. Yeah, the prep for it wasn't obvious, and I really liked that. So, however, I'm going to be greedy because my expectations for them are very high based on these 2 songs, and also because Taein is the one that did the ballet dancing in the first music video, I'm pretty sure. My expectations for him are even higher. I want to see them do it again, and I want him to arch his back when he does it. He keeps a little bit stiff when they're doing it, and arching it does make it a lot harder because then he isn't as in control of his body, so the other members have to control it more, so it does make it harder, but I want to see it because I think it would be really beautiful. And honestly, from a K-pop performance perspective, I get it because like singing, but maybe for a performance video, they can do that. So yeah, I talked for a really long time, so I'm just gonna stop there, but I really liked it, and Anna's turn.
So it starts off with whispering in the song because it starts off very silently and it's like a slow entrance and like anticipation building that suspense for the song. Talking about the silence in the beginning though, there's basically nothing happening besides their voice and just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That little, it sounds like a clinking sound. I don't know how to describe it. To me, it adds to the storyline because it feels less like an instrument playing, but just like something happening in a setting, like the clinking of keys or like someone moving in like whatever setting they're in. But also, I said it in the reaction, and if you know, please let me know. Who is singing the background vocals in the beginning an octave lower? Not just in this song, but in the last song too, their lower ranges are really beautiful. It's like very nice warm tone. And that's something I like too, because I feel like in K-pop you don't get to hear lower tone singing a lot. If it's a low tone, it's usually in the rap. But Peyton was talking about how this song is a bit more modern K-pop style, and I agree with that too. Like even the rhythms themselves, like it still has some of the style of the debut song. The strings are still extremely prominent. One of my favorite moments that I was saying is like during the rap section, the string line playing in the background. That's when I really just like want to see the sheet music. My next comment is about the chorus. I said when it first came in, I was like, oh, that like went lower than I expected, because so the note to end the pre-chorus is a ooh, and then you would expect it to resolve up to do. You would expect it to go up, but instead the chorus goes down, because usually in songs too, the chorus will be higher than the verses. And like the melody that they're singing, that's true. Their singing is much higher, the line that they're singing, but the initial chord starts like it feels like it's going down and it becomes more grounded. So it's a very interesting effect. And also it's because like I believe the key during the verses is F sharp minor. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's an F sharp minor. And then for the chorus, it switches into C sharp minor. My last big comment is the ending of the song was really interesting to me. It ends with that one line, 아름다웠어. Let's say that one phrase in the song is 2 measures, so that would be 8 counts. That ending line, 아름다웠어, is only 1 measure. The way I'm going to interpret it for the story, let's consider the like remaining 4 beats of silence as part of that phrase. When you look at the video, and even when you're listening to the music, there's still this energy there. And that happens sometimes in songs where like the song is technically over, it's silent, but like there's still this energy in the air and you're still engaged. And I felt that with this song, like for the remaining 4 beats of that phrase. And to me, that contributes to like the story of the song, of just like this feeling of longing, because you're just like waiting during that silence. So I thought that ending was really interesting. Also because it changes back to like the other key, but anyways. Yeah, I hope my comments made sense today. Okay, cool. That's all I had to say.
So TLDR for today is it was our first time reacting to Elast, and we definitely have both heard about them before. And so we were very curious about what we were going to see, especially after reading their profiles this morning. And I think I speak for both of us when I say that we are very pleasantly surprised and really enjoyed these reactions, if you couldn't tell from how much we had to say about them. It's definitely a different style than what we see from most rookies, but it was not unwelcome. We really liked it. So yeah, so
All right,
I'm
Peyton,
excited.
which of the 2 do you prefer?
I don't know. Part of me is wanting to say Swear. I'll say Tears of Chaos because of the dance and the rap section. There's like a rap battle in the dance too.
I actually prefer their debut, Swear.
But yeah, I hope they have well, this comeback was in November, so they probably won't have one super soon, but like it'd be cool if they did.
Now that we know about them.
Yeah.
Alright, that being said, if you enjoyed this video and are a fan of Elast, or like us, this has been your first introduction and exposure to them, and you are also as intrigued as us, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, ding, turn on your notification bell, and bye!
Bye.